Hi, welcome to section 2.1 on solving equations. And there's something called the addition property that we're going to take a look at. And but this is not enough to solve every equation. There's a multiplication property and an addition property that needs to be learned. And so the multiplication property will be done in the 2.2 lecture. But for now, this is a good start. So indicate whether it's true or false that the value of x shown is a solution to the given equation. Well, once you have an equation with an equal sign, only one value is allowed, or only one value can make that equation true. And what they're asking us here is saying, well, is the number 7 the answer? Okay, so is it true or false that -7 is a solution to this equation? Well, the only way to find out is to plug the numbers in. And here's the template, the equation. Okay, there it is. Nice. Now, let's plug in that number. Now, when you plug numbers into an equation, it's important that you put parentheses around that number. So x is like a placeholder for a number. So they want us to put -7 in for x and just do the rest of the equation out. Copy it down. If you don't put parentheses around that, what do you see? Pretend the parentheses weren't there. It would look like 4 minus 7, and that's obviously not what you want. You're not going to subtract. You want to multiply. So make sure you put parentheses around the number that you're using to do the substitution. Now, what do you do now? Multiplication, order of operations. Multiplication has to be done first before you do addition. So let's do this part over here. This is going to be -28 plus 13 equals -15. Okay, there's no operation on the right side, so that's good. The -15 will always be on the right. But if I perform -28 plus 13, that operation, -28 plus 13 is -15. And I generate an equation that's balanced, has the same values on both sides of the equal sign, I'd say that's true. Final check. Great. So now we got 4 more of these things to do. Not a big deal. So they propose, now we're going to learn very quickly how to solve for x. We will learn this. But they say, well, for some reason they believe that 5 is the solution to this equation. Right now, the only thing that we can do is take this equation, leave it like that. Pretend you're seeing this right here. You're going to substitute in parentheses the number 5. Okay, equals 6 minus 5, and put the parentheses here because otherwise it looks like 55. And this is what I get for my substitution. Okay, now the left side has 30 minus 5, which is 25. The right side is, well, but don't do 6 minus 5. Don't go left to right order. You got to do multiplications first. And when you do multiplications, this is what you get. I get -5 times 5, always with the sign. So 6 minus 25. And it's not looking good for this value, for this 6, because 6 minus 25 is -19. And -19 is not equal to 25. Nope. No good. False. False. Final check. Well done. Okay, now what's the next thing? We got to perform this operation. Okay, not a problem. And rather than copying this equation, what I'm going to do is say, listen, I know that they want 8 to be plugged into here. And so what I'm going to do is copy the equation and substitute at the same time. 2 parentheses x. X is supposed to be 8. Okay, so I'll throw 8 in there. Sometimes you need the parentheses, sometimes you don't. In this case, you really don't need the parentheses, but I'm going to put them in there just to be consistent. Okay. Equals 8. Now, this, you got to do what's in the parentheses first. So whatever's in the parentheses first has got to be done. Whatever's in the parentheses is 8 minus 4 is 4. So that's the value of those parentheses. Copy the rest of the equation down. And it's looking good for this answer because 2 times 4 is 8. And that is certainly equal to 8. Okay? I would say that's true. Super. Great job. Yes. Okay, let's get a new sheet of paper. Don't save that. File, new. Okay. All right, nice work. Very good work. Okay, so I guess there's just one more that happens to have a fraction. Okay, not a big deal. Fractions are not that bad. Okay, I see 20. Now, in parentheses, they want us to plug in 4/5. Okay. Minus 4 is equal to 10 in parentheses 4/5 plus 4. Okay, let's see what happens here. I'm going to, let's make sure I got it all down. Yeah, okay. Now, what do you do when you see a fraction? Now, the fraction is not a big deal. You know what you're going to do is you're going to multiply the tops. That's going to be 80 divided by the bottoms. And if there's not a bottom, it's 1. So 1 times 5. So it would be 80 over 5, which is 16. Another way to do this, probably the best way to do this, is simply take the 5, divide it into 20. That gives me, so I'm going to do that. 5 goes into itself once. 5 goes into 24 times. 4 times 4 is 16. Minus 4 equals, now I'm going to do the same thing here. 5 goes into 10 2 times. 2 times 4 is 8. That's what that multiplication is. And so I got 8 plus 4 is 12 on the right. 16 minus 4 is 12. Hey, who would have thought that that's the answer? But that's the answer because I have the same value on both sides of the equals. True, final check. Yes, very good. Let's see what the next one is. Now here's the addition property in a nutshell. Okay, in a nutshell, the equation tells you what to do. This is what I tell all my students for the last 30 years. The equation, I want to solve for x. I don't want to say, hey, x is 4, then plug it in and prove that that's the answer. I want to actually generate that 4. And what you're going to do is take a look at the equation. X plus 3 equals 7. I'll put that over here. X plus 3 equals 7. Okay, I want to solve for x. And what I mean by solve for x, I want x by itself. I don't want a plus 3 there. The equation tells you what to do. If you see a plus 3, you always do the opposite. Okay, that's what I mean by telling you what to do. You do the opposite of what you see. Okay, I see a plus 3. I don't want plus 3 there. I want x by itself. So do the opposite of plus 3 on both sides of the equation. And that will give me the answer of x equals 4. That's the magic of algebra. Okay, you do the opposite operation, but you do it on both sides. Equations are balanced. Whatever you do on one side, you do on the other. So, but they don't want. Actually, all they wanted us to do is just say we have to subtract 3 from both sides. That's all we wanted to do. Let's see. Y. You don't have to have y's on the left. You can have y's on the right. What I'm going to do by looking at this is, in order to get y by itself, I got to get rid of that minus 1. I could do that by adding 1. The opposite of minus 1 is adding 1. But you do that to both sides. So I'm going to look for what I just said there. Add 1. Okay. Check your answer. Good job. And I'm just doing the opposite of what I see. I'm going to let you do this one. Oh, no, I'm not going to let you do that one. I'm going to come back here because I have to actually solve this. Okay, because that looked like the other problems. Let me clear this out. Don't save. And then say File, New, sheet of paper. Come here. Z plus 1 equals negative 10. Okay. That plus 1's got to go. Minus 1. Minus 1 on both sides. If you subtract 1 from one side, you subtract 1 from the other. The whole idea is we get the z by itself. Negative 10 minus 1 is negative 11. So they gave us the z equals, so just put the negative 11 in there and be done with it. 5. I'm going to let you do 5 because that's just like what we just did there. They're all pretty much the same, guys. They're all pretty much the same. Okay, because over here, I'm going to do this. Maybe this is a little bit different because we have the n on the right, and it really doesn't matter. Just to get your mind away from always thinking that the variable's got to be on the left. N plus 4. 4 plus n. That 4 has got to go. The opposite of plus 4 is minus 4. Whatever you do on one side, you do on the other. Boom. Cancels. That's the whole idea. N equals negative 6 minus 4 is negative 10. Negative 10. Perfect. Okay, I'll let you do that one. They're all the same. They really, really, really are all the same. Just different numbers, and they give you different variables. Negative 16 equals negative 6 plus r. Well, I don't want negative 6 plus r. I want r by itself. And I see a negative 6 there, so what I'm going to do is put a 6. I'm going to add 6 to the right. Whatever you do on the other one side, you do on the other. Okay, that cancels, and the whole idea now is r is by itself. Negative 16 plus 6 is negative 10. Remember, you got to know how you do your addition of positive and negative numbers from chapter 1. It's very important stuff here. Okay. All right. Okay, let's do fractions. Okay, so you got a few that I skipped. Only because based on what I just did, you do the same thing over and over. Now, with these fractions, now the only complication here is this, you got the same technique, but the only complication now is you have to deal with fractions. So, all right, x plus 1/6 equals, you know, I like to have the negative in the top. It just makes it easier for me to do the math a little bit like that. Doesn't matter where you put it, but really I like it on top there. But I am going to subtract 1/6 because the opposite of plus 1/6 is minus. Whatever you do on one side, you do on the other. Okay, so we have x by itself because the 6 will cancel, and that's equal to minus 5 over 6 minus 1 over 6 because you're subtracting 1/6. And this is not a bad problem because when you have the same denominator, remember that? When you have the same denominator, your answer is going to have that denominator, and then you simply subtract the top. So negative 5 minus 1 is negative 6. But of course, you're not going to write that because negative 6 over 6 is negative 1. There's your answer. I think the next few problems are going to deal with fractions. So let's see. There's not much more to this, but I will say, whenever you have a problem with a fraction that's a mixed number, don't do it with mixed numbers. Convert this right off the bat. 8 plus 4, but when I say 8 plus y equals 4.5. I don't want to do 4.5. I want one fraction, improper that it might be. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9. So what goes up top is 9 over 2. And the way I got that was by saying, well, 2 times the whole number is 8 plus the 1 up top. It gives you 9 up top. There you go. Now, what I'm going to do now is subtract 8 from both sides. y equals 9/2 minus 8. Now, since I'm dealing with fractions, you might as well represent the 8 as a fraction, and 8 over 1. And you know what? You can't do the problem unless you have a common denominator. You have to have the same denominator. And so if you look at this, the common denominator would be, the lowest common denominator would be 2. See? So this fraction already had the common denominator. Now this fraction has to change. 8 over 1 has to have a denominator of 2, which means what you did was you multiplied the bottom by 2. So you have to multiply the top by 2. That gives me 16. Now I can do this. Now I can do this problem. The answer in the end will have a 2. 9 minus 16 is -7, and that's my answer. Y equals -7. There it is. -7 divided by 2. Enter. Nice. Fantastic. Only a few more problems and this video is done. Oh, some basic word problems. Converting words to algebra. There's a few problems like that. 4 more than a number is 16. I don't need that paper right there. Here. X is my variable, right? I want 4 more than that. X plus 4. That's 4 more than X. So whatever X is, you're adding, it's 4 more. Is always universally, the word is universally the equal sign. Always think of that as equals. Equals 16. Check your answer. Nice. And they want us to solve it, of course. They snuck that part in there. So right here, look at this. I don't think I need any paper for this. X plus 4 equals 16, huh? Minus 4. I see a plus 4, you do the opposite. Minus 4 on both sides. I'll have the X equals 16 minus 4 is 12. And if I were to plug in 12, you know that 12 plus 4 is equal to 16. So I know this answer is right. What is the translation? The result is 27. They did half of it for us. If 4 is subtracted from X, subtract 4. Okay, a lot of people take it literally, 4 minus X, and that's not the case. You're not subtracting 4 from X, you're subtracting X from 4, the way that's written. So you want to make sure you read the entire clause and extract from that. Take the point of view of the X, and you're subtracting 4 from it. Check your answer. Great job. And then you obviously are going to add 4 to both sides, because that's the opposite of 4. Add 4 would get rid of it from the left, so when you add 4 to the right, you get the 31. If -4 is added, okay, I am adding -4 to X. The result is -5. Okay, that looks good. Now what does this mean here? Remember, X plus a -4 equals -5. So you have to ask yourself, there's a couple ways you could approach this. I'm adding a -4. I don't want that -4 there, so I should probably add another 4 to that, to this side, because -4 plus 4 is 0. And whatever you do on one side, you do on the other. You'll get X equals -1. So that's the answer. Another way is to remember from what we did in chapter 1. Adding a negative is the same thing as subtracting. X minus 4 equals -5, and the same process continues from there. Add 4 to both sides to get -1. So pick whatever you want, whatever's easiest for you to understand, and move on from there. After dieting and exercise, a featherweight boxer lost 3 pounds. The boxer now weighs 121 pounds. So what was the original weight? Okay, the original weight was X. Love that variable. He worked out, lost 3 pounds. As a result of losing that 3 pounds, he gets 121. So I'm going for this one here, A. A right there. And that's it? Okay. He must have been 124 pounds before, but that's okay. If the speed of the car is increased by 10, if the speed of the car is increased by 10, so if the car's X, original speed plus 10, he's going 19 miles an hour now. What's the speed now? Well, X plus 10 equals 19, enter. And the speed of the car was, I should say was, the speed of the car was, I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides. It was 9. Okay, not is, because it is 19 miles an hour now. So they really should have used the proper English. And let's see. You got a helicopter. We don't know what the original height is. They called it H. Okay, so let's see if I can move this up a little bit. I can't. It's the best I can do right now. Anyway, they got the helicopter. It was H meters off the ground. After descending 144. So after this helicopter went down 144 meters. Okay, the helicopter is now 443 meters off the ground. What's the height, the original height? Well, you're going to add 144 to both sides to get H equals 785. So 587. What? 587, 443, 443. Okay, 443 plus 144, 7. Oh, type an equation. Type an equation. I'm sorry. H minus 144 equals 443. Enter. Okay, and then the answer is 587. Okay, we're done with that. And you're going to be done with that too. Bang out those 17 questions and then move on to section 2.2, which is the multiplication property. We'll see you there. Bye.